Think we are on the YouTube now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lunar Reason, June 2023. And of course, once a month, me and Christine will meet each other on YouTube and on Zoom. And maybe we will finally cut a little bit and put on Instagram to talk about the recent transit. It's so complicated. And I know Christine already like, what are you doing? Hi, Christine. How are you?
Well, I'm melting. I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous weather, but it is really super, super hot.
Yes, I didn't realize because I just come back from tropical area from Taiwan last month. I was there, and then
Yeah.
I come back. So the weather was like, oh, very mild, very pleasant for me. And starting for last couple of days because I also have a little bit of situation here, but not the situation, but I get COVID. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I always feel like a little bit I always feel a little bit I'm not sure what I'm doing. So that also make me feel like I wasn't aware about the hot weather until yesterday. Like it was 30 degrees. I saw I had a fever.
Yeah, a fever on 30 degrees. Well, I really feel for you because you know my husband is unwell, and
Yeah.
yesterday he was really very poorly.
Mm,
And
the
and
weather.
today he is still really quite exhausted because the heat is just too much. Even with
Mm,
all the fans and the air conditioning,
uh,
it's too much.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in another way, I mean, without consider about the weather, I maybe will blame blame about the Pluto moving sign or something, because like you say, it's changing. It's a I remember you use a special term about in continue. You know, you talking about a special term when planet changing sign, and then there is something, some ripple, some yeah.
Well, I always think that with any ingress or
Mm,
egress,
mm-hmm,
you've got a large wave, right?
mm,
And riding that wave is really, really tricky, right? And
mm,
clients notice it a lot because it is a complete weather change. And if you think of yourself as being on a surfboard, then
yeah.
as these big tides come off, then it's easy to fall off the surfboard, which is
Mm,
precisely, of course, what's happened politically, where you've got Nicola Sturgeon, Boris, Donald Trump, and I'm sure that the list goes on right around the world as and this was only the geocentric. We have to remember this is
mm,
only the geocentric.
yeah.
It's not the big helio one. The big stuff is yet to come. That's
Hmm.
January of next year. So this is only a hint of how big
Yeah.
these waves are going to be. And I mean, it's very interesting, even away from politics.
Hmm.
Two of the jobs that I'm doing at the moment are quite in-depth legal challenges.
Hmm.
And actually, I know this wasn't on our list of things to talk about
Hmm.
today, but this is really interesting, this, because a long time ago,
Hmm.
Pluto was going to be going past my moon, right?
Okay.
And my moon lives on the eighth house cusp, right?
Oh.
And I honestly can say that at the time I had no idea. I didn't move. I didn't, none of the things that people told me were going to happen. Absolutely nothing. Missed every textbook thing that you could
Hmm.
imagine.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, maybe it'll happen a month later or whatever. In fact, it was 10 years, or rather 10 degrees, right? Pluto had moved on by 10 degrees before I knew what that thing was about. And what
Hmm.
had happened was I bought something then that then I didn't realize the value of it and for 10 years. And I had absolutely no idea. It was like buying an old painting and then suddenly you
Hmm.
discover it's got value. Well,
Hmm.
these two legal cases that I'm involved with at the moment, they too have got these long
Hmm.
duration. So the actual events happened, although the people didn't even realize at the time that
Hmm.
they were going to be sucked into a legal drama, and then
Hmm.
it all comes out later. And this is like our politicians, right?
Yes.
So we're only just seeing the beginning of this. um Nicola Sturgeon, for example, we know she's a
Surprise.
Cancer. Yeah, we
Yeah.
know she's a Cancer. She's had Pluto opposing her sun, and yet it's the legacy of all of that that's coming
Hmm.
up so
Yeah.
much later. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, and we noticed Trump was also in a case in his I think it depends about the he took all the secret away with him, and then now it's like you know, in a legal case at this moment, Trump. And then also, I think, what a surprise about the Boris Johnson.
Well, I don't think we should ever be surprised with Boris Johnson, right?
No.
And I'm equally sure that that story has yet to run quite a long way. I mean, just, keep out of the way, because really, as I said, this was just a little taster at the weekend
Yeah.
of everything else that's going to happen. So that story is anything but finished. Remember, unless Jupiter skips the sign, which is extremely unlikely, it's going to go
Yeah.
into Gemini. So there is a lot more to come yet.
And today, I think you probably already read the news, and another one joined the queue, but it's not about legal case, but it's unfortunately he died today. The Silvio Berlusconi, the
Yes.
Italian premier prime minister, and you just like,
Yeah, but you see, we we as astrologers, I've always recognized that Pluto going through Capricorn, as it came to the end, we would be seeing the end of regimes.
yes.
And this is exactly as, if you go back to the last time it was there, 1777 through to 1797, this is exactly the same. And there will be a reformation, right? We don't know what it's going to be. The other day I did this talk for NCGR, this thing on the future of Europe. And I actually went back over 1,000 years to show how the contours of Europe and the countries, the borders have all changed. And over the next 20 years, they will change again. That's just, it's a cyclical movement.
Yes. One thing, I mean, maybe is quite not really surprised, but when I checked Berlusconi's chart, because I would just have a quick look, he was born in 1936. And surprised, I never see someone has Pluto opposite Pluto, transiting Pluto opposite the natal Pluto. I was like, oh dear.
Well, you see, this is the wonderful thing, isn't it, about why generations are so different? Because when I was learning astrology, right, everybody had the Uranus opposition first, then the Neptune square, and then the Pluto square. But other generations have had them in different orders. And
my generation, we have a Pluto square Pluto, transit Pluto, come to square Pluto first.
Yeah.
And then we have after.
And it's a completely different script, totally different.
I agree.
So some generations would never experience Pluto opposing Pluto, right? But others do. I mean, and this is just, it's part of life's rich tapestry, isn't it? And that's why you can never actually model on the last one. This is the problem, when I'm doing the finance stuff, this is really the hassle, because you can never compare exact like with like. The cosmos doesn't do those exact repeats. And we get so very, very close. We get tantalizing close to getting something, but you're never going to, if you're really lucky, if you get an 85% success rate. And if you get that, really wonderful. But it's really hard to get anywhere near that. Really, really hard.
Yeah. Another big thing for last couple of weeks was in the US, SEC started to the first Binance and then Coinbase, and they just use so-called Howey test to define all the crypto, are they belong to security or not, and how are we going to see this with astrology and how it's going to develop?
Well, I think, look, we saw this coming. I had been writing about this since 2020. I've been going on and on about the fact that there were regulations and restrictions were going to come. Absolutely. The pair of the cryptos came into being, the first ones came into being with the Saturn-Uranus opposition, right? Across mutable signs, right? So they didn't have fixed boundaries. And in fact, you could argue they didn't have any boundaries at all. The next lot that came in about 2015, they got a much nicer aspect between Saturn and Uranus, and we're trying to work within some kind of framework. But even so, when the two planets came into their square within fixed signs, right, then people say, hold on a minute, just a minute, we need to have proper rules and regulations, right? And the first sign of that real trouble coming was at the November lunar eclipse last year, when the FTX thing collapsed. So there were a series of orange flags all the way through last year. Now, what's really fascinating about this is that it's all blown up, or apparently blown up around this last quarter moon. It
Yes.
hasn't at all, because if you went back to the full moon that relates
Mm-hmm.
to this one, and
Yeah.
the first quarter before that, and the new moon that
Mm-hmm.
started it all off in 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of them around 19 degrees of Pisces, right? This is all picking up on that original chart,
Mm-hmm.
the Halloween white paper chart.
Yes.
So this is all, it's all happening as it's supposed to. My my guess, I haven't followed it today because I've been really busy with other things, is that
Mm-hmm.
we're still going to see a little bit of a downturn, then we'll have a bit of an up, and then we come down again. Because
Yeah.
this crypto story is, it does not mean that crypto is dead, right? For
Mm-hmm.
those who are not into this, right?
Mm.
That's not what this is.
Hello, everyone. While we are talking about the cryptocurrency, suddenly, Christine has some emergency situation, have to engage with a medical person and Michael. So we have to interrupt, and then I stop the recording that part. But I just add a little bit about what we were planning to talk, and then so from here. Also, I mean, really wish Michael is feeling well. Okay, all right. So here is what we're going to talk about later. Oh, well, in the beginning, me and Christine was talking about we are going to talk about the other things need to talk about the Saturn in the Saturn stationary in this week, and that is also another thing we need to watch out. And because I think from we can say from the 14th of June to the 20th of June, Saturn will turn stationary, and it will turn the retrograde around the Sunday, the 18th of June. And that would be something, I think, apart from not only from the financial astrology or also the mundane astrology, it's worth to keep an eye on it. And that is pretty, you know, intense energy during that time. Usually, a planet stationary remind us to keep an eye on something, especially something related to that planet, something related to that planet. So what we thinking about is during that time, between around the 14th of June to the 20th of June, that would be a period need to keep an eye on it. I mean, well, Christine may have different interpretation, but this is what we're going to talk about. Suppose, between the 14th to the 21st, and that would be the Saturn stationary there. So together with all these things, Pluto just changed the sign, and the Saturn is stationary during that time. I think we still have, maybe just keep an eye on all the important political issue and the financial issue, and that is what we were supposed to talk about it today. And I think I really hope Michael is okay. And so another thing that I would like to share with you is the this year the Astrological Association Conference for Great Britain is it will be on the 13th to the 15th, 13th to 15th October. And so if you really want to join us, because it's a huge conference this year, and it will have 6 track, and you can join us by residential. We will be in the somewhere near the Midland and near Birmingham. That's a very nice conference center there. And then there's a lot of astrologers come to join us. There's Stormy Grace, Lynn Bell, and I will be there too. And we will, there's a 6 track, and it's such a big event for the astrology community there. And yeah, I forget, Lian will join us too. And so it's from 13th of October to 15th October. But one thing, as you are here today, there's early bird price discount, but the early birds finish by the 15th of June. Okay, in next couple of days, I think I don't know, in 3 days time, the 15th of June. Okay, so yeah, so that would be the things you can join us, and that would be a good discount there. Okay, so so I think okay, Kristen just sent me a text message, so okay, let me reply her. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching today's Lunar Reason. I mean, wow, what a surprise. But we really hope Michael will be fine. And next time we will see you in next month's Lunar Reason. See you. Bye bye.